Okay, so there's a lot of action here, all right? Now, I'm anticipating that the director is going to have at least 10 minutes. And in some regions that I work with, they may get as many as 15 minutes. But we're going to try to keep it lean and mean so that if it is 10 minutes, we can work that in. So here's what happens, okay? This is week number 2. The education coordinator just went through the I'm Relevant worksheet. The chapter members have written on the back of a name card their number one key situation, and if they are one of the 20% go-getters and they already have a bragging buddy, the name of that bragging buddy. So now you're the BNI Director, and you're stepping up to the podium at the 10-minute slot, or that featured speaker, whatever the phrase is that you use in your region at that point in the BNI meeting agenda. So in your mind, you know you're going to be covering very quickly the 4 stages of power team development, just recognizing that the group is just starting out. You're going to talk very briefly about the 10 key question worksheet. Then this is where I want your focus right here. You're going to stand on a soapbox and you're going to talk about commitment and performance. And I'm going to show you that. Finally, we're going to do a bragging buddy formation exercise. And so a lot of things are going to happen. So to review this now, you're stepping up. It's going to be the 4 stages, but you're just going to talk that we're in the orientation. We're in the first stage of the 4 stages. You're going to point to the 10 key questions just to show people what that is and where to find it. And then we're going to really talk about commitment, and we're going to go into a little bragging buddy formation exercise. So again, here's how I would deliver it. They introduce you, the director, and you say, all right, hey, how's everybody doing? Let's see a show of hands. Who's excited about generating lots of referrals with power teams? And of course, people are going to be raising their hands. Great. Did the I'm Relevant worksheet make sense? Did anyone have a challenge completing it? And if so, take a quick question, give a quick answer. Chances are there's not going to be too many questions. The idea is that people don't have to have a relevant product or service for all 6. They should probably have definitely at least 1, more than likely 2 or 3. Some people will have 6 or 5, but you're going to just check in. Did it make sense? Okay, great. Now, here's what we're going to do today. I'm going to review where your chapter stands in the 4 stages of power team development, and then we're going to take a quick look at the 10 key question worksheet together. Finally, we're going to finish by positioning you to form bragging buddy groups of 2 or 3 people and give you a running head start into your power team boot camp. Sound good? Okay, here we go. So let's start at the top. Everybody please open your Power Team Roadmap workbook to page 5. So everybody on the webinar right now, go ahead and open your workbook to page 5. And just philosophically speaking now to you, the trainers, my philosophy is to let the workbook do a lot of the work. We're going to be exposing this material to the chapter at the chapter level, at the meeting level. Their subconscious mind, even if they don't go home and study it, just by being exposed to the material and being among other people in the chapter who are immersed in the material outside the meeting, who are going through the DVDs at home, who are listening to the audio material on their iPod. Being around that group and having logged this material in, visually seeing it at the chapter level, at the direction of the BNI Director, the education coordinator, is very, very valuable. And you don't need to go into the details of these things during these short presentations. People will be attracted to the right information if they're exposed to it. And that's what we're doing here. We're simply saying, everybody please open your workbook to page 5. Here we see the 4 stages of power team development. And you're just going to rattle off what they are. And then you're going to ask a question. Did you watch webinar number 2? Do these 4 stages make sense? Anybody have any questions? And then bottom line is, don't give long answers. Just refer people to the webinar or the information in the workbook. Okay, you're not going to have a lot of time to get into specific answers. Chances are there won't be very many questions because the material is fairly thorough. But if there are, give a quick answer, and when in doubt, just refer people to the webinar or the workbook. And so you're going to wrap this part up by saying, obviously, we're just now starting out and we're in the orientation stage. So congratulations, in terms of the 4 stages of Power Team process has begun. So you're going to congratulate the group that we're in the mix now, okay? We've started the 4 stages and you're in the orientation stage. So again, we're calling it boot camp in the material, but I'm going to substitute the word orientation. So here we go. Your orientation starts today. Within the next 2 weeks, some of you will complete orientation and advance to stage 2, promotional activity, as bragging buddies. Now turn to page 9. Orientation starts with the 10 key question worksheet. So everybody on the webinar, go ahead and turn to page 9. And here you see a 2-page spread, 9 and 10, with 7 of the 10 questions. You're going to say the 10 key questions have been engineered to train your power team to give compelling testimonials. This series of 10 questions has 2 primary goals: to help you to describe your target market in a way that's easy for your power team to remember and recognize, and describe your differentiated value in a way that's easy for your power team to remember and repeat. Now, you may want to change differentiated value. You could just use the word business. Describe your business in a way, or your unique selling proposition. Whatever phrase you want to use, describe your business or your consumer value in a way that's easy for your power team to remember and repeat. So literally, and this is what you're going to tell the group, webinar number 4 gives you step-by-step specifics on best practices as well as guidance on answering each question with a message your power team can repeat to give a compelling testimonial. So you're telling the group, watch the webinar, it'll answer your questions. I strongly recommend that you watch webinar number 4 and then write or type your answers on the worksheets you can download from the website. And so as the trainers, you should familiarize yourself with moneyonthetablebook.com. There's a page there where there's a wide variety of free downloads, including the 10 key questions. So just to continue, you're going to tell the group, going through the exercise of actually writing your answers is an important step in focusing and clarifying your message. Is this something you can do? Yes? Okay. So again, you'll put it in your own words, but I'm just trying to give you the spirit of what we're doing. So here we go. This is the important part, okay? When you're thinking ahead of this presentation, of the first director presentation, this is what I want you to remember, okay? There's a saying or a phrase that goes something like this, where it says, long after people forget the words that you said, they'll remember how you made them feel. Okay, they're going to forget what you said, but they're going to remember how you made them feel. And this is where I want some feeling to come in, because now you're going to be talking about the most important aspect of being a power team networker, and that's commitment. And so if it's me, I'm going to say something like this. Now, if you've been keeping up with the training webinars, you know the difference between a power team and a contact sphere. Does everybody remember? Some people will say yes, some people will say no. You're just going to roll right through this and say mutual commitment and increased performance are the 2 factors that separate a power team. And if it's me, I get a little verbose. You don't have to use all these words here, but it's mutual commitment and increased performance that separates the power team, which proactively and systematically generates an ongoing and abundant stream of referrals, from a contact sphere that stumbles across the occasional referral by responding as an order taker to someone who asks, do you know a good blank? So again, this is a perfect example of where you can put things into your own words, but not this first part. I want you to say this part verbatim. The 2 things that separate a power team from a contact sphere is mutual commitment and increased performance. Now, in a moment, we're going to take a step towards pairing everybody up into groups of 2 or 3 bragging buddies to continue your orientation. But I'm only going to include people in this stage of the development process who are willing to make the commitment and do the work. I assure you that the payoff will be worth it. So right here, you're calling people out. I'm only going to include people in this stage of the development process who are willing to make the commitment and do the work, and I assure you that the payoff will be worth it. Now again, this is where you can say it in your own words, but in fact, Power Team Certified is so powerful that even if you choose to not go any further than learn from the education coordinator each week and from these BNI Director visits, you still will benefit from referrals created by the Power Team for your relevant product and services that are listed on the I'm Relevant worksheet. So this is an important point, and I hope that you wrap your head around what I'm saying here, is that everybody has gone through the I'm Relevant worksheet exercise just a few minutes ago. Lots of people in the group, when they hear the word commitment, may not be that excited about making an additional commitment. They've already made a commitment to come to the weekly meeting. What else are we going to ask them to do? Some people are going to love it, some people aren't. But everybody's gone through the I'm Relevant worksheet exercise, and now you're telling them that referrals are going to be created by the Power Team for these relevant products or services. Okay, now you're going to put the hammer down. Here's the deal. To receive the full benefit of proactive, systematic promotion by the Power Team, you must complete the orientation with the following commitment. Watch webinars number 4 and 5 and complete the 10 key question worksheet for yourself in the next 72 hours or 3 days. 2 webinars and the 10 key questions in the next 3 days. Then when you've got your 10 key questions answered, watch webinar number 6 to learn the agenda for the first meeting with your bragging buddy. Okay, so now we're finally talking about getting together with your bragging buddy, and it starts right here. Week number 2, the director is pointing people to webinar number 6 for the agenda for their first meeting. And then finally, if you're going to make a commitment today, I'm standing in front of you, I'm the BNI director, I'm saying I'm only letting people go forward who are going to make a commitment. I've asked you to watch some webinars, I've asked you to complete the 10 key question worksheet, I've asked you to look at what the agenda is going to be, but by golly, I'm going to ask you to begin meeting at least once a week with your bragging buddy to follow the agenda on page 14. And so some people are going to flip ahead to 14 and look at the agenda, and I'm sure many of you have already, so you can see what that agenda is going to be. And now we're going to wrap up. Here's the finish, and I know we're just about out of time with the webinar. You're going to say something like this. Earlier in the meeting, everyone wrote their number 1 key situation on a business card. If you can make the commitment to do the 3 things I just went over, please pass your business card forward with your number 1 key situation to the mentor coordinator. Now the chapter mentor coordinator is going to put people together into bragging buddy groups of 2 or 3. So did you see what happened here? We're saying that earlier in the meeting you wrote your number 1 key situation on your name card, and if you can make the commitment to watch the webinars, do the 10 key question worksheet, and start meeting with a bragging buddy, pass your card forward because we're going to get you started. Okay? And everybody else, those of you that aren't going to make the commitment, that's okay. We're going to make you systematically visible. Just come to the meeting next week and we'll give you more information. Everybody else, here's what's going to happen. Your chapter is going to have the flexibility of using one of these alternative techniques. The director is going to ask the mentor coordinator. Now, if your chapters aren't using a mentor coordinator, it may be the education coordinator that does the whole thing. It may be somebody else in the chapter who wants to volunteer as a mentor coordinator of the week, if you will. But here's the deal. The cards have come forward. People have made the commitment. And now you're going to process the cards in one of 2 ways. The education coordinator, the mentor coordinator, whoever it is, can pair people up during the meeting for announcement after the meeting. In other words, let's say you get 20 cards, okay, and people have new baby written. So you're going to match up a new baby person with a new baby person, business builder, whatever it is. And then as the mentor coordinator or education coordinator, you're going to have some idea, try to mix up a veteran with a new person. Particularly important when we're dealing with new chapters or using Power Team Certified with the launch of a chapter. We'll get into this conversation next time we talk a little bit more deeply. Right now, as we wrap this thing up, you're going to use one of two alternative techniques to process these cards. The first is during the meeting for announcement after the meeting. If it's a bigger chapter, then it will probably be after the meeting for announcement in the next 24 hours. Either way, these cards are going to get sorted, and regardless of which technique is used, the person operating as the mentor coordinator is going to do three things. Notify the members of their bragging buddy, remind the bragging buddies about the three instructions that we covered earlier, and then finally, compile the information on the bragging buddy tally sheet. And so the bragging buddy tally sheet is the final sheet in this package. So to wrap up the verbiage, and then we'll cut this webinar because I don't want to go over time and keep people too long, is if it's me, I say something like this. Okay, today was a big day. The new bragging buddy your mentor coordinator pairs you with is a potential golden goose for your business. Now, regardless of how well you know your new bragging buddy, complete every step of the orientation. I'll be back in 4 weeks to take inventory of which bragging buddies are creating referrals by implementing the first 4 levels of systematic visibility. Those groups of 2 or 3 bragging buddies who are actively creating referrals will then be combined with another group of 2 or 3 who are also exchanging referrals and also share the same key situations to form a power team of 4 to 6 people. Sound exciting? Okay, great. I look forward to coming back in a few weeks to take your power team to the next level. So again, real quickly to wrap this up, people have submitted their cards, the cards get sorted, and then they're going to get notified on who their bragging buddies are. They're going to get reminded about what they've committed to doing, and then the mentor coordinator person who's completing that role will complete the bragging buddy tally sheet. And all you'll be doing at this point is filling out the key situation and who the bragging buddies are. There'll be an odd number, and that's when you use 3. So later on, we'll get into what these other columns are for, and this bragging buddy tally sheet now becomes a thread that we'll use going from week to week.